this international symposium on intersectoral cooperation for resilient landscapes. ICFRE fraternity feels greatly honored and privileged of having you all for your gracious participation and in the event. I take this opportunity to welcome Shri Subhash Chandra ji, Chief Executive Officer Kempa, who despite his very busy schedule came over in person to Dehradun to grace the occasion, and we look forward to your advice, direction and blessings on the occasion, sir. Welcome. We are blessed with the gracious presence of Dr. John Parrotta, the President of International Union for Forestry Research Organizations, in today's opening ceremony. The ICFRE fraternity warmly welcomes you, sir. I have great pleasure in welcoming Shri Arun Singh Rawat ji, the Director General ICFRE and the driving force behind this entire event. A warm welcome to you, sir. I also welcome all the eminent guests present here today, representatives from various international organizations, senior officers from various institutions, delegates from different countries, scientists, foresters fraternity, scholars, students, members of non-governmental organizations, industry representatives, friends from press and media for gracing this occasion. This is the place where forestry science actually originated in our country and was disseminated across the country. The Forest Research Institute has a very distinguished history of more than 110 years. It made a humble beginning as a forest school established in 1878 in Dehradun itself and came to be known as Imperial Forest College of Imperial Forest Research Institute. The ICFRE today has evolved as an autonomous body of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India, with geographical spread across the country in the form of its institutes and centers. We are all well aware that the accelerated global change in climate, environment and socio-ecological milieu are putting tremendous pressure on various life support systems. Vast tracts of lands are facing degradation, desertification, which pose severe challenge to elimination of hunger and poverty, which is our goal, and reversal of biodiversity losses in many parts of the world. Resilient and healthy landscapes offer safe havens for both animals as well as plants, and we are able to cope up with the negative impacts of climate change with resilient landscapes. Landscape restoration is therefore an effective adaptation mechanism and highly imperative to regain the ecological functionality and richness of the habitats and the richness and resilience to the climate change. Reconnecting and integrating across landscapes actually requires a very open and a transparent dialogue, bringing different members of academia and practitioners together, and also deliberate on various present status and future developments. We have today representatives from national and international organizations, and I hope this 2-day symposium will offer a very productive platform for sharing ideas between academic and researchers and professionals. I wish you all a very satisfying, enriching participation in the deliberations, and would be eagerly looking forward to the action-oriented roadmap of recommendations coming out of the symposium. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all once again. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I take pleasure in inviting Dr. John Parrotta, President, International Union of Forest Research Organization, to address the gathering.
Namaskar. Good morning. Shri Subhash Chandra, CEO of Kampa, Shri Arun Singh Rawat, Director General, ICFRE, Shri Ramesh Kumar Dogra, representing the Director of FRI, Dr. Dinesh Kumar, also from ICFRE, and Srimati Vijaya Ratre from ICFRE, honored guests, colleagues, and friends. It is indeed my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the International Union of Forest Research Organizations to this international symposium on intersectoral cooperation for resilient landscapes. Many of you may not be very familiar with IUFRO, who we are, and what we do. IUFRO is a global network of voluntary cooperation open to all individuals and organizations dedicated to forests and forest products research and related disciplines. Among our many aims, one is to contribute significantly to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals set forth by the United Nations a few years ago. IUFRO is a dynamic, but also a very old organization. We were established in 1892 in Europe, and over the years, IUFRO has grown to be a truly global organization and network that includes approximately 650 member organizations in about 125 countries worldwide. We organize approximately 70 meetings a year, plus every 5 years we have a World Congress, the next one coming up next year in Stockholm, Sweden. Our network involves over 15,000 scientists. Soon it will be 15,000 scientists who are across all disciplines, cultures, backgrounds, interests, and the way IUFRO is organized, we provide multiple platforms for collaboration at a very broad level. We have divisions that include significant parts of the research spectrum, such as forest products, forest health, silviculture, and so on. Within those, there are numerous dozens of smaller mini networks that bring together colleagues who have interests in more specific research topics together to collaborate for meetings, for joint publications, collaborative projects, and so on. And again, it's a very welcoming organization. So those of you who are not currently involved in IUFRO and wish to be, I encourage you to look into what we have to offer and find a way to join us in our efforts. It's actually a lot of fun as well to be involved in IUFRO. Now, the topic of this symposium, which is of course jointly organized by IUFRO and ICFRE, it deals with one of the most pressing challenges of our time: halting and reversing forest and land degradation for the benefit of people and nature. As we all know, forests and trees outside of forests provide multiple goods and services to society, as well as serving as the homes for the world's biodiversity. Without forests, where would we be? We'd lose significant climate regulation functions. Without forests, we would be jeopardizing food security and human health. Forests are vitally important for hydrological regulation and water quality, both in rural and particularly in urban areas. Forests provide livelihoods for millions of people worldwide, and they sustain communities and cultures where they exist. So for so many reasons, we owe it to society to do what we can both to conserve and to restore forests and healthy rural landscapes. Of course, when we lose forests or agricultural lands, for that matter, are degraded, we were left with a smaller resource base and fewer services flowing from forests to people, it's a bit of a vicious cycle. Restoring resilient landscapes and restoring the forests within those landscapes requires local solutions. It's essential that we understand the context in which environmental degradation is occurring, both in terms of the environmental context, as well as the social, economic, and political context. Without this knowledge, our efforts are likely to fail. Once we have a good grounding in where we are and exactly what the challenge is in a particular landscape, it's incumbent upon us to apply the best available knowledge. This includes scientific knowledge with which we are all familiar. This is what we do. But at the same time, it is vitally important, particularly in a country like India, where there's such a rich tradition of land management and cultural expression and knowledge of the land, that we take into consideration and actively work with communities and utilize their local knowledge in the development of solutions to land and forest degradation. So ultimately, our goal is to both to conserve the natural capital represented by forest, at the same time providing short and long-term direct benefits to people. This is critically important. People must see the benefits of our efforts. All of this requires a lot of cooperation. As I just mentioned, it means collaboration and mutual respect in our interactions with local communities. It requires cooperation with colleagues outside of the disciplines that we represent. In particular, it requires research and development collaboration in the fields of agriculture, water management, spatial planning. We need to work closely with our colleagues in engineering and the mining industry to develop more sustainable ways to build infrastructure and obtain the natural resources that often lie beneath forests. And at the next level, it requires cooperation and integration among sectors to harmonize sectoral policies so that they don't result in significant land use conflicts, and that they all work in the direction of resilient landscapes and prosperous communities. This is not an easy task, but this is something I think we're all cognizant of, and it's actually something that IUFRO is very much engaged in, the science policy interface, especially at the international level, by providing scientific insights and syntheses to policymakers in language that's comprehensible and sensible to policymakers, to help them make better decisions. So during this symposium, we have a great opportunity to share knowledge and experience from India, from the South Asia region more generally, and from other parts of the world on so many aspects that are part of this broad challenge of recreating resilient landscapes. The program includes a number of technical sessions and poster sessions, and of course today's field trips to Rajaji National Park and the Mussoorie Hills. So it's a great opportunity to learn from each other, to get to know one another, to enjoy each other's company, and perhaps to form some new friendships and new research collaborative relationships. So I thank you all for your attention and your contributions to making this a successful symposium. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for providing a background to the symposium and pressing upon its importance. Now I invite Shri A.S. Rawat, sir, Director General, ICFRE, to share his thoughts with the gathering and the opening remarks. Sir.
Sri Subhash Chandra, CEO Campa, Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Dr. John Parrotta, President IUFRO, Sri Rakesh Dogra, DDG Admin in Charge, Director FRI, Director IGNFA, PCCF and HOF, Haryana and Punjab, and Director General of Forests, Austria, heads of sister organizations here, distinguished delegates, senior officers, scientists, representative of media, guests gathered here, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and warm welcome to everyone. Restoring the world's ecosystem is vital to achieve the goals of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. It is in this context that the International Symposium on Intersectoral Cooperation for Resilient Landscapes, aiming to evolve strategies for development and implementation of landscape management practices, acquires utmost significance. In order to bring resilience in our landscapes, an integrated landscape management approach may be important in achieving the adaptation and mitigation goals, along with the improvement in livelihood, productivity, and other ecosystem services. Land degradation is increasingly becoming a major concern in India. As per the latest estimates, 97.85 million hectares, that is around 29.7% of total geographical area of the country, is undergoing process of land degradation. India is committed to addressing land degradation and restoring the ecosystem. The government has launched several schemes in this direction, including National Afforestation Program, Green India Mission, Watershed Development Component of Pradhan Mantri Krishi Yojana, which contributes to achieve the target of restoration of 26 million hectares of degraded land and achievement of land degradation neutrality, with the focus on sustainable and optimum utilization of land resources. ICFRE has taken important initiatives to address forest degradation and problem affecting forest landscapes. Some of the important initiatives are development of suitable restoration models with package of practices for restoration of coal mines, overburden, limestone mines, sodic soils, degraded hills, waterlogged areas, sand dune stabilization in different parts of India. Preparation of DPR for rejuvenation of 13 major rivers through forestry intervention, development of National Red Plus strategy, and subsequently safeguard information system. ICFRE has prepared macro level environment impact assessment report of iron ore mines affected areas in Bellary, Chitradurga, Tumkur district of Karnataka, and suggested mitigation measures for amelioration of mining environment and surroundings. In recognition of global scientific role of ICFRE in addressing major forestry research and land degradation issues, Government of India has entrusted ICFRE to set up Center of Excellence on Sustainable Land Management to address the land degradation issues for enhanced South-South cooperation. The main role of the Center of Excellence would be helping the developed countries to arrest further land degradation for conserving biodiversity, food and water security, support livelihoods, along with maintaining the flow of ecosystem goods and services for posterity. In the line with the global development in ecosystem restoration, ICFRE and IUFRO agreed to initiate a discussion process among countries in the BIMSTEC region with focus on ways and means of mainstreaming landscape thinking for ecosystem restoration in natural resource management education. ICFRI is implementing the World Bank funded ecosystem service improvement project in collaboration with state forest departments of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh under overall guidance of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. This project is supporting the goal of Green India Mission by demonstrating the models and best practices on sustainable land and ecosystem management and livelihood benefit. It is a great honor and matter of pride to ICFRE to join hands with IUFRO to host this symposium. Experts and scientists from the fields of forestry, agriculture, nature conservation, water resource management, and mining across the globe have assembled here today. In 2 days conference, landscape restoration issues, experience on innovative approaches to landscape restoration, and intersectoral policies and planning coordination will be discussed. I am quite hopeful that this symposium will encourage global partnership and enhance intersectoral cooperation on landscape restoration and bring together various stakeholders under common goal to restore the world's lost and degraded forests and their surroundings. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful thoughts and highlighting the role of ICFRE in ecosystem restoration and natural resource management of the country. Now I invite Shri Chandra sir, Chief Executive Officer Campa, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change for the inaugural address. Sir.
Namaste and very good morning. Respected John Parrotta, President IUFRO and US Forest Service. Respected Shri A.S. Rawat sir, Director General ICFRE, Shri R.K. Dograji, Director IGNFA, Shri Dinesh Kumar ji, the senior forest officers, scientists, heads of various forestry institutions from the state and from the international, national organizations, distinguished guests, learned participants, my foresters colleagues of the symposium, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great privilege and honor for me to be here and to be a part of this international symposium on intersectoral cooperation for resilient landscape. It is indeed a great opportunity to bring together a galaxy of experts and practitioners on the natural restoration of landscape, and we all should try to learn from each other and make use of this knowledge which we will be sharing and take it to practice in our relevant field. We know that there is a need for intersectoral cooperation to work in this area. Our planet is facing unprecedented challenges that require us to rethink our approach to land use, agriculture, forestry, urban landscape, and bring out conservation strategies that bring together all the stakeholders. As we all know that the way to use our land has a profound impact on the environment, on the health and well-being of the people, and all the living being. Wildlife is one area where we have not been very concerned about how our actions are affecting the health of wild animals, because they are impacting our health also. In this age of globalization, the impacts are visible everywhere. The food choices are converging, so that there is demand for using agricultural land for multiple products which are multiple produce which are not suited to that area, and that is also one of the reasons for degradation of agriculture lands. And the change is from the urban landscape to it is extending to industrial, and that is actually happening in continuum, and there is no certainty that a land which we are using, it will have a permanent nature of its use. So we have to try to restore the lands which are not in the normal land use of that uh, that agrogeological regions. Agriculture is the backbone of India, we know, and many South Asian economies, and they play a critical role because this region is highly populated region of the world, and forestry, agroforestry, and nature conservation are essential when they work with the people's livelihoods. And for our efforts for conservation of biodiversity and ecosystem services have succeeded despite huge population pressure and demand for development. This region has rich history and diverse culture, but it is also home to some of the world's most pressing environmental problems, from deforestation to land degradation and pollution of water bodies, our rivers. That is one area which is also uh, visible in many places. From deforestation, land degradation, soil erosion to water scarcity, it is a multiple uh, sets of challenges that require a coordinated response. One of the key ways to address these challenges is the collaboration and coordination of different sectors and stakeholders to achieve a common goal. This can help us to coordinate our efforts, share knowledge and resources, and achieve more effective and sustainable outcomes. Intersectoral cooperation involves the cooperation of agriculture, forestry, horticulture, agroforestry, and nature conservation sectors, among others. The aim is to ensure that land is used in a sustainable and resilient manner, and that the benefit of land use are shared equitably among different stakeholders. At the heart of our discussions today is the question of how we can enhance livelihoods, equity, and human well-being while promoting sustainable land use practices. This is a complex challenge that requires us to balance economic, social, and environmental consideration. It also requires us to recognize the importance of local communities as stewards of natural resources. In many cases, forest communities have been marginalized and excluded from management of natural resources. But in India, we have a history of more than 4 decades of working with the local communities as joint forest management and participatory forest management, whatever you say. And Forest Rights Act has given restored the forest rights of the local communities, and they are partner in forest conservation. We need to develop policies and strategies that empower forest communities to become active participants in the management of natural resources. And there are very uh, successful stories coming from the field. Forest land restoration can provide a range of benefits, including improved soil fertility, increased water retention, and enhanced biodiversity. If we have a look on success stories of forest land restoration in many parts of the world, we find that it involves the rehabilitation of degraded forest land through the planting of local species. Control of invasive species is one area where India is facing huge problem. I think the situation will be same in many countries. India, lot of large tracts of forest land have been infested by the lantana, parthenium, and other invasive species. There is need to improve the productivity and resilience of forestry system through the use of sustainable and climate smart forestry and agriculture practices. As far as CAMPA is concerned, this is acronym for Compensatory Afforestation Management and Planning Authority. It came into existence in almost 15 years back in 2008 and 9. So ad hoc CAMPA authority was there, and the compensatory levies which are deposited by the land user agencies, which require forest land for different purposes, that is deposited into a fund which is called compensatory afforestation fund, which includes net present value also of the land. And this is all, so far we have collected around $10 billion of the compensatory levies, and it is used for the compensatory afforestation and improvement of forest, degraded forest for different in the different states. And so far the results in last 15 years, we can say that we have covered compensatory afforestation in 1.29 million hectare of land, and another million hectare have been covered under improvement of forest quality in the existing degraded forest. A lot of work is being done in water conservation. Every year our forest departments are developing more than 5,000 water bodies in the forest landscape, that is helping in retention of water and improving soil and water regime. There are many examples where removal of invasive species had improved the wildlife habitat, and it has improved the biodiversity and wildlife population. So this is one area. Another one area is Campa is also supporting improvement of urban landscape. City forest is one area, Nagar one we call it here. So ministry is targeting of creating 1,000 Nagar one in 2 years. So far in first year we are progressing for creation of 400 Nagar ones city forests in the country, and this will continue. So it is giving good healthy environment in the city for the citizen in urban landscapes. In fact, the guiding principle which our Rashtrapita Mahatma Gandhi ji has said, that the earth has enough to provide for the needs of everyone, but is not enough for anyone's greed. So, and this is also substantiated by guiding principle which is pronounced by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, that the people to follow the mission lifestyle for sustainable environment. So our demand on the natural resources should be rational. It should not be demanding so much from the nature so that it is impacted adversely. To conclude, the challenges facing the sustainable management of forest landscape in South Asia are enormous, but so are the opportunities. By working together across sectors and discipline, we can develop strategies that promote sustainable land use practices and enhance the resilience of our landscape. By engaging with the stakeholders in an inclusive and transparent manner, we can build trust and consensus around the need for change. And change is only the permanent thing in life. So we have to see that change is not so painful, and it is for the better. We must realize that forest land protection is not the state's duty alone. The citizens too have a take on active role in this. I am confident that with concerted efforts, world will overcome the challenges ahead and will enjoy a prosperous future. I congratulate ICFRE-FRI and IUFRO and other partners in organizing this conference. From various state forest department has also joined hand this international event so beautifully that I see large number of participants from diverse field, and this will give lot of learning, lot of exchange of ideas, and will benefit the sector and help us in restoring landscape. On behalf of ministry and my own, I wish you all a very successful symposium and its outcome for effective conservation. This will also help us in shaping our policy for working in more effective, more efficient way. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for setting tone of the symposium with your guiding and inspiring words, and also introducing Campa and highlighting its importance. I request Shri Rakesh Kumar Dogra, sir, to kindly present a memento to our chief guest, Shri Subhash Chandra, sir, as an expression of our gratitude. I also request Shri Rakesh Kumar Dogra, sir, to present a memento to Dr. John Parrotta as expression of our appreciation. I also request Shri Rakesh Kumar Dogra, sir, to present a token of our affection to Shri A.S. Rawat, sir, DG ICFRE. Now I request Dr. Dinesh Kumar to present a memento to Shri R.K. Dogra, sir. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Dinesh Kumar, scientist and organizing secretary, IUFRO Symposium, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Honorable Chief Guest, dignitaries on the dais, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it's a matter of privilege for me to extend a vote of thanks on behalf of the organizers. We are extremely thankful to Shri Subhash Chandra, Chief Executive Officer, National Authority Campa, for accepting our invitation to be the chief guest of this session. He has always been ready to help us in developing vision, realizing our goals, and continuously strengthening the organization to face new challenges. Sir, your urge for intersectoral cooperation in policy, research, and extension across geographical and political boundaries acts as a beacon for us. And this symposium is a manifestation of our step in that direction. We are highly thankful to Dr. John Parrotta, President of IUFRO, and his organization for awarding this event to us and continuously guiding us on various aspects of its implementation and coming all the way from IUFRO headquarters with his team of experts from around the globe. I feel immense pleasure in extending my sincere thanks to Mr. Arun Singh Rawat, DG ICFRE, for leading and guiding us in planning every aspect of this symposium. He has been the guiding force behind the arrangements and the energy that brought a galaxy of experts from different parts of the world and different sectors on one platform. I express my deep gratitude to Mr. R.K. Dogra, DDG Administration and Officiating Director, FRI, for dynamic leadership to plan and execute the event in a flawless manner. I deem it my duty to thank Dr. Renu Singh, who could not attend this event due to unavoidable circumstances, for her immaculate planning and guidance as Director of the Institute. I place on record my gratitude to Mrs. Kanchan Devi, DDG Education and Director International Cooperation, and Dr. Rajesh Sharma, ADG Project Formulation, for their active role in getting clearances, funds, and technical inputs for organizing the event. I owe heartfelt thanks to the Scientific Committee of IUFRO for constantly working with us from day one and shaping the event in great detail. Help of IUFRO Secretariat in logistics is gratefully acknowledged. I owe profound thanks to our session organizers, moderators, and lead speakers for accepting our invitation and joining hands with us in conducting various technical sessions and sharing their knowledge and experience. I heartily thank IUFRO board members and members of Special Program for Development of Capacities of BIMSTEC for their participation. BIMSTEC is basically Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, and it comprises countries namely Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka and Thailand. And IUFRO deserves praise for financial support to many delegates of these groups. I especially thank delegates for registration and participation in the symposium and bringing in thoughts, concepts, results, experiences and suggestions on different topics in the form of oral and poster presentations and enriching the event. I extend my sincere thanks to the sponsors, that is Forest Departments of Punjab, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Assam, Campa and JSW Steel Limited, for their financial support and attaching immense importance to the symposium. We are indebted to sponsors and officials of different state forest departments for gracing this event. It is my humble duty to extend vote of thanks to Director, Rajaji National Park and Commandant, Eco Task Force for heartily welcoming us and allowing us to conduct field excursion in their areas and providing all the logistical support in this matter. It is my pleasure to extend thanks to sister organizations, namely IGNFA, Forest Survey of India, CASFOS, for shouldering responsibility in providing accommodation for our esteemed guests. I owe special thanks to ICFRE headquarters for making available to us the venue and all facilities. I profusely thank members of various organizing committees of FRI who have left no stone unturned for smooth conduct of the symposium. Their full and unconditional support in logistics of this symposium is commendable. An event of this nature and scale requires constant support from all the quarters, especially the close quarters. And for this, I humbly thank my colleagues, Dr. H.S. Ginwal, Dr. Manisha Thaplial, and Secretariat for their active help and active support day and night. I also thank Ms. Vijaya for being compeer of this session. I greatly appreciate and thank the experts, scholars, representatives of government, industries, NGOs, and members of civil society for participating in this symposium by offline as well as online means. Many of the participants, they have traveled long distances to attend this symposium. I am sure contribution from all of you will lead to futuristic roadmap for greater intersectoral cooperation for a resilient landscape. I thank the print and electronic media for providing wide coverage to the symposium. Last but not the least, I express my utmost thanks to each and everyone who has directly or indirectly contributed to the success of this symposium. Thank you. Have a nice day.
With the permission of the chief guest and honorable dais, we close the inaugural ceremony, and I request all the dignitaries and participants to gather in the front lawns for the group photograph, followed by tea in ICFRE lawns. Buses for field excursions are parked outside separately for the destinations of your choice. I request all the participants to board the concerned buses after the tea. We are expected to be back by 5:30 in the evening. And also a gentle reminder and humble invitation for cultural evening and symposium dinner at Hotel Pacific. The same buses will take you to the venue. Thank you everyone and have a good day. A small announcement for IFRO board members. If they are willing to pay their registration fee right now, they can do it outside. Thank you.